Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation's LNTV. I'm your host, Mark Angelides. Now, Virginia has for months been the focus of gun control battles in the US, especially as the new Democratic majority has exercised its power. To discuss this with us is Legal Affairs Editor, Mr. Scott D. Cosenza, and gun enthusiast. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Mark.
So, Scott, gun owner, Legal Affairs Editor, what's the latest from Richmond?
Well, the very latest, Mark, is that the Democrats were able to pass out of committee several gun control bills that run the range from a return to gun controls that Virginians have already had to suffer through before, such as a one gun per month purchase limitation, combined with some new and really very troubling bills that eviscerate the rights of Virginians, notably a red flag law that allows, through a civil procedure, a judge to essentially grant a criminal conviction against a Virginian for gun possession purposes.
And just for any of our listeners who aren't familiar with this, this is actually without the accused, the person being penalized, appearing before the judge or having a chance to answer their accusers. Is that correct?
So that's part of it, Mark. In the law, we call that an ex parte proceeding. They don't even necessarily have the right to be informed of the actions that are taken against them. So basically how this works, according to the current proposal, is somebody goes and complains that somebody is perhaps suicidal or homicidal and has a gun, and a police officer or a government attorney in Virginia can go before a civil court judge and say, we want an emergency order to take away this person's firearms. If the order is granted, the police immediately go and will search and seize those weapons. And then the person who has the weapon seized gets a hearing sometime in the next couple of weeks, where if they're lucky and have some money, they can get some counsel to try to convince the court that they're not, in fact, crazy, homicidal, or suicidal.
You and I have discussed on Liberty Nation TV this issue before. Specifically, we discussed that there's a high risk of these particular red flag laws being used in marital breakups as a way to punish the one or the other participant.
Well, we know, Mark, that any tool that the law gives to people will be misused and it will be used for probably the right reasons and the wrong reasons. The thing that I think upsets me and other watchers of this legislation is there's no foresight going in. There's no recognition that these things will be implemented not against the intended targets, which is to say people who are homicidal or suicidal, but those other Virginians who are not and wish to enjoy quiet enjoyment of their rights, including their gun rights. And there seems to be no effort on the part of legislators to put into the law some protections that might help those people who are innocently accused. But we don't see that. And typically how these things happen is, anecdotally, there'll be a story a couple of years down the line about, some horrible event that befell some innocent victim, and then the legislature will act.
Yes, it's almost as though the legislators behind this haven't taken a global look, because obviously in the UK, where I'm from, and we don't have the right to bear arms, there are obviously no murders or suicides because we don't have firearms.
Mark, I love it. Also, you do have the right. It's just not recognized. All human beings. This is the lesson of the founders of the United States of America, is that these rights don't come from the government, but we hold them. And we demand that they be recognized by our governments. I'm sad that yours doesn't recognize yours, and that those who constitute my state government are trying to strip mine away as well.
So, Scott, what's the next battle here?
Well, the bills are out of committee. They're in the Senate. The House still has to act, but the fight will be ongoing as they work their way through those bodies. And the next big day is Monday, January 20th. When it's lobby day at the Capitol, and the pro-gun side and the anti-gun sides will be out. I think the pro-gun side will have a massive turnout, Mark. We've seen through the Virginia sanctuary county and city law a really just unprecedented backlash to the pre-filed bills that banned guns and did all measure of violence to gun rights in Virginia. So we'll see if that impacts some of the legislators who are seems like they're interested in voting with their Democrat colleagues, but not perhaps to the point of costing themselves re-election. And that's the political lever that a number of Virginians will be trying to apply on the 20th.
All right, many thanks to you, Scott. Hopefully we can reconnect on this issue when it reaches the next stage. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you at home.
Hi, folks. Lisa K. Donner here, editor-in-chief of LibertyNation.com. We hope you enjoyed watching this video, maybe even learned a thing or two. If so, please take a moment and subscribe to our YouTube channel right down there in the corner. Thanks so much.